validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa, I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. We are in line with a pretty good Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. And I got to tell you guys, it is not short of breaking news day to day. There's just some reckless stuff going on in the White House. Elon Musk doing a Spartan symbol that being misrepresented as a Nazi flag. Donald Trump talking about getting rid of the ideology of woke. The business deal that they talked about in the White House that he's like, oh yeah, the US should get paid off of that, trillions of dollars. I mean, I told you guys yesterday that these guys were putting it together where Elon Musk and a couple of the billionaires were interested in investing in TikTok if it became accessible in the United States. For American investors, the top 1% will make or break a company, because as popular as TikTok is in another country, it's worth trillions in the United States, according to Donald Trump, because of all of the wasteful spending of the United States. Today, we're going to be talking about Russia. We're going to be talking about why some people that Donald Trump told everybody that if you don't like it here, you can get out. And when he told everybody that if you don't like it here, you can get out, I was sitting over here thinking, man, I've been talking about many of places that y'all can go, but today I'm going to tell you guys about Russia. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe. And if you guys want to throw some comments in there, you can do so in the comment section. Or if you want to say it in real time, you can click that link, approve the mic, approve the camera, talk about it in real time. You got to be over the age of 18 to get up on a podcast. But you will be live. You will be seen and heard in real time. So bring your best self to the podcast. I hope that everybody's comments are going to be positive because we're looking at an open mic, open forum, open-minded podcast. So, even if we don't agree, we're going to have an open discussion. We're going to work the situation out. As you guys come in, make sure that you guys note that we are live 7 nights a week, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Well, no, 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and it's going to be 7 o'clock California time. California's still on fire. Almost out, but not quite out. I'll let you guys know when the fire is out. As soon as I get an update on that, I'll give you guys an update on that. And keep in touch for later in the week. We're going to be talking about who all owns and operates or runs the NAACP, since we had one of the trolls that jumped into the fan group and tried to claim that the NAACP and the DEI are racist entities in America. I will be doing a show on the DEI and the NAACP to be able to show you guys that, organizations that push for equality or fairness or balance in situations where people don't have the support that they need from their society or their country is not a racist entity. Just because you don't like it, you don't have to like it. And you could love it, you could enjoy it, and it could still be racist, but you don't have to like it for it to not be racist. But since they want to make it seem like the NAACP is exclusively run by minorities, when it's not, I'm gonna be able to do a show about that later this week. And then I still got to get tomorrow and Thursday show up here, so you're going to be seeing a lot of stuff coming up on the lineup. So as we get started today, I want to make sure that you guys enjoy this for the sake of, because I got some information that people don't really notice. And I can tell you that I've been bringing information like this for the longest period of time. And oh my God, at the top of the ladder, you're going to be jaw dropping on this, because check this out. I just join me as I explore whether Russia is really becoming a new American dream for some of the expats, some of those passport bros, and see if we can find the hidden gems that make this country so appealing. And there is a lot of stuff here for it. Check this out. Russia is a country shrouded in mystery, a land of grandeur and majesty, where the impossible becomes possible and the ordinary becomes extraordinary. But is it really becoming the new American dream for some expats? That's what we're going to be finding out today. Many of us know that the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but for some, the challenges they face in their home countries can be overwhelming. The rising cost of living, suffocating bureaucracy, and dwindling job opportunities can force people to look elsewhere for a better life. The American dream, once the ultimate goal for many, is no longer only a game in town. It's not the only game in town, I'm sorry. Whew. Crossed eyes on that particular sentence. Look, now, expats are seeking new frontiers. We've been talking about new frontiers for the past 2 months. We've talked about Dubai. We've talked about Japan. We talked about Singapore. We talked about Canada, Mexico. We talked about the Philippines, Thailand, Taiwan, South Korea. We talked about a lot of investment strategies. Brazil, Romania. Special shout out to Red Void and Omni81 from Twitch. We've covered a lot of countries. And this week we're talking about Russia, because Russia is ironically 30% of the followership right now. And in the Western world, we often hear about the struggles of making ends meet, the never-ending cycle of debt, and the anxiety that comes with it. In some countries, the mere thought of affording a decent lifestyle is not short of a pipe dream. And it's not just about the money. It's about the quality of life, the freedom to pursue one's passions, and the sense of community that's often lacking in today's fast-paced world, which is why we were talking about the slow life last week. Trying to tell you guys, everything makes sense in this podcast. It all starts coming together if you watch the show every day of the week. These challenges have prompted many to seek new opportunities abroad. And Russia, of all places, is emerging as an attractive alternative with its vast lands, abundant natural resources, and growing economy. Russia is quietly becoming a hotspot for expats looking for a fresh start. But what's driving the sudden interest in Russia? Is it because Donald Trump's buddy is in Russia? Is it the promise of untapped opportunities, the thrill of exploring the unknown, or something more? For many expats, Russia represents a chance to reboot their lives, to escape the monotony of their daily routines, and embark on a thrilling adventure. The country's low cost of living, rich culture, heritage, and breathtaking scenery are just a few reasons why Russia is becoming an attractive destination for those seeking a new lease on life. And then there are the economic opportunities, the thriving startup scene, the growing demand for skilled workers, and the potential for entrepreneurship that's hard to find elsewhere. I'm gonna tell you guys, I do research for the show every time I bring something to the show, and I started bringing something about Russia. I definitely put my effort into this one, and I know I put my effort into a lot of them. But Russia, I had to dig deep. I had to dig deep. A lot of sources had to go into this one, but I can tell you right now that the statistics that I'm giving you is this year's statistics, and this year is only about 21 days old. So this is not old information. This isn't last year's knowledge, because as of January 2025, the cost of living in Russia is relatively low compared to the global average. And I'm talking about the global average, not in comparison to the United States. The average cost of living in Russia is approximately $690, which is 1.5 times less expensive than the world's average when including rent. The total cost rises to $745. So let me say that one more time. The average cost of living in Russia is approximately $690 per month. And if you include the cost of rent, it is about $745 per month for the total standard of living, which is, I do believe, if I remember correctly, Japan was 793, I think. So Russia is a little bit cheaper than Japan, where Japan's standard of living was $8,500 a year. You're telling me that you can go and live in Russia cheaper than you can live in Japan, which is like $300 less than going to live in the Philippines, which is like $800 less than going to live in Taiwan. But this is the entire standard of living. This isn't just the rent. Because, the standard of living in America isn't the standard of living in America. That when you talk about the standard of living in America, you start off talking about the cost of rent first. And then you start talking about everything else that you might be able to afford and squeeze into your day-to-day paycheck. Because in America, you got places like Florida and California where rent is $3,000 a month, $4,000, $5,000 a month just to rent. Utilities between $50 to $100 for the water bill, $200 to $500 for the light bill. You're talking about car insurance, almost $600 to $800 depending on where you are and what kind of driving records you got. Car notes upward of $500 to $2,000 a month depending on what kind of car you drive. Gas is almost $100 a tank, and depending on how many times you got to fill the tank up in a week, you might be spending $1,000 a month on gas. You're looking at the average standard of living in America, usually somewhere between $5,000 and almost $10,000 a month. In February of 2024, it was determined that the median standard of living was around $69,000 to $72,000 to live comfortably. And I'm sitting here telling you that Russia, yet another country, that you can live in that country for less than $12,000 a year. And here in America, you got to make almost $75,000 a year to live comfortably. Let's break this stuff down. Renting a one-bedroom apartment in the city is approximately $333.36 in Russia. Renting a cheap one-bedroom apartment is around $215.85. Utilities for one person is about $48.61. The average monthly food expenses are around $205 with specific prices for common items like milk being 92 cents, bread being 52 cents, and eggs being $1.32. And I'm going to go over that again because it's a liter of milk for 92 cents. How many liters are in a gallon? We're looking at, what's that, $2, $3 worth of milk? Bread, a loaf of bread, 52 cents. 12 eggs. That's a dozen eggs, $1.32. Isn't our eggs almost like $3 a carton? Chicken breast, 1 kilogram of chicken breast, $4.66. Dinner for two at a restaurant, approximately $26.94. So you could partner with somebody in a one-bedroom apartment, which you wouldn't be able to do that in America, but not that cheap, because a one-bedroom apartment is almost $1,500 for just the apartment. But a one-bedroom apartment, if you double down on groceries, where groceries is $205 for one person, if you said $410 for groceries, and you throw down that one-bedroom apartment inner city, the expensive one, the $333 one, $334 if you round up, you're looking at $700 a month, right? For two people, right? Local transportation, 47 cents. Monthly local transportation, $23.65. Taxis, $5.91 for 8 kilometers. Look now, that is insane. So you're telling me an Uber is gonna cost us $40? Yellow cab gonna cost us $240. They can hop them a yellow cab for $5.95. That's cheaper than a Subway sandwich. I tell you what, Melissa says life outside Western countries are drastically cheaper. Rent and food are cheaper everywhere. I'm looking because when they said that the global average 1.5% cheaper than the global average, I'm like, what average? We must be like not included in that statistic. 1.58% lower than the globe. So what's the global average? We're looking at almost $2,000 a month. These guys are living under $700 a month. We couldn't find a way to live in America at $700 a month. I doubt that most of us could get to work on time at $700 a month. Most countries, $12,000 a year is middle class life. I was just saying that when I was talking about the Philippines, Taiwan, Thailand, Romania, and Brazil, because you can get in Japan, you can get $8,500 a year. And in the Philippines, you can get $12,000 a year, and those are middle to upper middle class living. So if you were spending a $24,000 in the Philippines, you was wasteful, and if you were spending $15,000 in Japan, you were wasteful. Yeah, everything that you need. Look, you talking about barely living in America on $25,000? Hold on now. They said that the median standard in America was the good living. The not needing for nothing was almost 72,000, which is 3 times $25,000 a year. So in the U.S., you not making it by yourself with $25,000. You living with somebody else, where your 25,000 and their 25,000 came together, and y'all living in a low income neighborhood for 50,000. That's what's going on. That's the reason why we got so many toxic relationships, because we got to live with people we don't like because we can't afford to live by ourselves. The economy is designed for two people to come together and suffer. It ain't about coming up. We got to find ways to make it make sense for us, and we got to find partners that's willing to grow with us, because otherwise we don't stay down, because there ain't enough money to go around if you don't know how to buy, sell, invest, spend money wisely, which is why we talk about it on the show more often than not. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're talking about ways to make money, save money, invest money somewhere. So, I'm talking about Russia. I'm about to start talking about investing overseas. I talked about offshore banking. I'm telling you that. I don't just talk about it. I bees about it. So when I finish telling y'all about it, I've gone over there and opened me up an account somewhere. I told y'all about opening up them checking accounts with the 5 to 7% interest with 8,000 plus financial institutions across the country, and y'all can put a couple $100 into a new checking account every month and get 5% interest on the banks and 7.5% interest on the credit unions, and expand your options. I'm telling you, all that interest. We don't do that though. You'll put it in a savings account that'll give you 0.056% interest, which is less than half a cent to the dollar. And you could have been dropping it somewhere, getting 5 to 7 cents on a dollar for your $500 that you put in there. I don't get it. Melissa say these other countries have a community mindset. They aren't on computers all day. They hang out at parks and malls, and at them parks and malls, they ain't shooting each other up neither. You say, yes, you can save, invest in local business, start one there, and buy land, houses, and apartments. Do you see the genius that we have in Melissa right here? Because I can tell you real quick, guys, you can start your business here in America and then do a foreign domestic over in another country, where any profits that you're making in America can be written off by the debt that you invest in another country's startup, so that since you got to claim your taxes everywhere you go, if you're going to tell the U.S. that you making money, you also got to tell the U.S. that you're spending money too. That way you break even on paper, so that you can go over and here's a funny thing, because while you can invest in other countries and turn profits in other countries, the U.S. says that under $120,000 a year, you're not paying taxes on that money. So if you have a different business in a different country, and each one of them businesses is making less than $120,000 a year in each one of them countries, U.S. ain't gonna tax you again. So you might get taxed in that one country, but you're not going to get taxed by the U.S. on top of getting taxed in that other country. But if you open up bank accounts in them other countries, you really ain't got to say shit, because it's going to be directly deposited into the bank that of the same country that the money is in. And do you know that there is nothing in the United Nations laws, rules, and regulations that says that one country has to report the income of the visa passport individuals from another country? So we could just rock and ride and just slip and slide, because you know that paying taxes is voluntary, right? The only time it's not voluntary is when you're committing tax fraud and tax evasion, when you're misclaiming shit, or when you're hiding shit. But if you just don't tell them shit, they keep whatever gets sent to them on your behalf, and you don't ask for shit. Just slide. Melissa said, my friend started a local restaurant in Colombia, and she's making a few thousand, living well there, no stress at all. It was a burger joint, which actually is probably better than doing a burger joint here in America. And she said, yes, just have a good tax or accountant guy to do all of it. And you know what? I know a guy. She said Cambodia. You have Joe Mastrano. He was on the show. He's a real good tax guy. It's tax season right now. For those of you who didn't file taxes in 2021, you can file taxes right now and get some of your stimulus check money if you do it before February. The rest of y'all, look, I told y'all I'm a vat of information. I talk about this, that, and everything in between. But the other thing is, though, Joe Mastrano will help you out with your taxes. You tell him that this and that sent you, he'll give you a discount on his services. And if you need more information about that, you hit me up in the comment section. I'll give you all of his contact information, because he was on the show a few months ago talking about how we allow ourselves to leave a lot of money sitting on the table. And under the new tax laws, it just happened from September, plus the new tax laws is going to be happening in 2025 for 2026. We really need to talk to a CPA at some point and make sure that we're not leaving no money on the table. We're not so much afraid of being audited, we're afraid of being taken advantage of. So you got to go talk to somebody that know what they're doing. But we could also read and do some research and try to figure a lot of this stuff out on our own and try to have a better understanding of it. Either way, because you might save a little bit of money doing it yourself, but you just got to make sure that you don't make any mistakes, because if you get audited, TurboTax is only going to go so far, y'all. I'm going to be real with you. Starting in January of 2025, certain regions in Russia, such as Karelia, will offer 100,000 rubles approximately $1,300 to female students under the age of 25 who successfully give birth to a healthy child. And this incentive targets full-time college students and is part of a broader effort to encourage young women to start families amid a declining birth rate. I'm going to get back on that because Melissa said the best thing is to get out and travel. Look, Passport Bros beat us to it. Don't be a tourist. Be around the locals and see how they live. Yo, yeah, you're right. It is real cheap. Try to get a job remotely, freelance, start a business where you can live anywhere. And this is what I do on a computer. And I told y'all this when I was talking about going to Southeast Asia and living off of $500. I was talking to you about the day before that. This was like Thursday and Friday of just last week when I was having this exact same conversation. It's almost like Melissa watched the podcast and now she's saying everything I said last week. It's crazy. But if another person is telling it to you, it ain't wrong. I was telling you about ways of becoming a digital nomad where you get paid to travel. You get paid to go places and get money. There's ways where you can go places and you can work to live there, work for room and board, and then you'll be able to live in those locations for free. You can house sit for people. There's all kinds of ways that you can make it make sense for yourself. But while you're in other countries, you can do startups, you can do investments. You can do investments here in America that's turning out dividends so that while you're traveling, you're getting direct deposits every month into an account that you can withdraw money from so that you don't ever got to come back to the United States. Because didn't Trump say that you can go and not come back, or you can go and come back, whatever you want to do, but don't just sit here and bitch about it. Do something. Don't be the third wise man that buried the gold coin in the dirt and brought it back to Jesus and said, look, I still got my coin. Take that coin and go do something with it. You know, it's better to try something and lose it. Try something and make something out of it, then to just hold on to it and do absolutely nothing with it. That's an opportunity wasted. She says so many options globally, free education in some too. Look, you could be an online teacher. You could teach English. You could teach math. Everybody wants an English math teacher. I got a lot of people paying me to teach them English right now. English, math, science, history. I was teaching somebody from Hong Kong Canadian history right before I was teaching somebody in Asia about Japanese history. And I'm in America. All they wanted was an American teacher to show them some stuff. I know how to do some research. I could find all the scoop and the skinny. I made notes for them, sent it to them, and then we reviewed all the information. I got people gaining 20% increases on their grade point average. I find them with D minuses and they walk out of my class with B pluses. I'm talking about they go from a 61 to an 82 for real. And I don't have to put much effort into it because, as you see, I have no problem with talking on this podcast. So I have no problem with talking to the kids and teaching them how to be successful. And while I'm up there, I'm giving them tips and tricks on how to be financially successful as well. She says, even roommating, renting a room is dirt cheap. Oh, yeah, because like a studio apartment in America, $1,500. You go over there, they talking about some $100, maybe less. She say if you want to feel out local living, yes, there's websites for working, eating, and boarding. And if you own property, rent it out, etc. So many options to get out. I'm telling you. And she's like, yep, virtual tutor. Virtual tutor is the best way to do it because as long as you got internet service, you can work from wherever you want to work. They talk about, oh, do affiliate marketing. Bro, you can help somebody improve their English dialogue while you're sitting under the internet. You could be on the beach. You can be in a restaurant. You can be in a library. Don't nobody care what your background look like. But if you out there on the lakefront doing you know what I'm saying? They'll be able to enjoy the fact that they're able to hear you, learn from you, and now you can teach them how you did what you did to get where you are so that they can do the same thing. So they're going to learn from multiple different reasons. She said, even apply for jobs in other countries, looking for expats like teaching, etc. Oh, look, they got more. They got more than just teaching. They got more than just teaching, because a lot of these countries are having a population control problem. So not only are they giving you stuff for teaching, they're also giving you incentives to move there, live there, marry their women, have children there to repopulate the culture. They're going to give you places like Japan offers you $23,000 to start up a business as long as you hire two locals. And you know that if 23,000 US dollars in Japan is going to cover like 2 to 3 years worth of income. I think it was 33 months and 6 weeks is what I had did the math on. But it's like 8,500 a year to live there per person. So $23,000 could pay two employees for 18 months to work for the company before you actually got to start coming out of your pocket. So you could do a startup business, you could do a restaurant, you could do a bed and breakfast, you can do a maid cafe, whatever you want to do, and then they will run the whole business for you and turn the business a profit, because you're paying their salary whether you make a dollar or not for the first 18 months, and they will work hard to make you financially successful. When you're over their own business, you can get you a business visa, which puts you in the country for a year to 5 years, as opposed to going there for 3 to 6 months. And there's a whole lot more stuff that you can do in the country when that's going down. And you can deal with the better culture, especially if you're an American, because it's an insult and a compliment at the same time. Because when you do stuff that you don't have no business doing, that's an insult to their country, they're going to say, hey, let it go. It's an American. However, everybody looks at Americans as rich because you got to have a lot of money to be in this expensive ass country. So when you say I'm from America, they automatically treat you like you're a billionaire, because the amount of money it costs for you to get to their country is more money than what they made in a year. I can tell you, especially when some of the women work in other countries like the Philippines for $500 a month. $500 a month. I don't know too many females in America that go on a date for $500 for less than that. See what I'm saying? Melissa said, even virtual assistants, taking calls, booking appointments, etc., for businesses from home. Yep, you could also work a call center. You could also do a video blogger. You can be a writer. You can do editing. You can do video editing. You could be a photographer. You're traveling to all these different countries. You could be a photographer. You can sell your photos to Pixel. There's a lot of things that you can do in addition to that. And if you get certain certifications for certain things, you can even get you an extra occupation while you're out there. Get you a certification while you're out there. There's so much stuff going on. You say if you're getting or making at least $1,000 a month, you're living better than you would at home. And if you want more luxury lifestyle, you're looking at $2,000 or more easy and living like the 1%ers. And that's legit. And now I was just saying that like 30 minutes ago. I was like, yeah, if you really want to get out there and you want to be wasteful in the Philippines, that's like 2,000, 2,500. You want to be wasteful in Japan, that's like 1,500. You're looking at Russia right now. That's talking about a regular standard of living, high life in downtown, $333 for rent. You're talking about almost $800 to live in the high value district. So you really throwing money around to say that you done blew $1,800 when the standard of living is $800. You tipping big in that country. You understand? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But we don't understand this because we always on the grind. But you know, one thing is funny, because a lot of people say that those men that jump on airplanes and fly to other countries to go find themselves wives is broke. Bro, it costs a lot of money to get over there. You got to pay for your standard of living in America and your standard of living where you go. So any man, woman, or child that decide to book a flight to another country to go find friends, family, and loved ones somewhere else, they got money, because you can't fly to another country and live in another country and pay for your standard of living in America at the same time, when the standard of living in America is not going to get cheaper because you're not there. The only thing you're not paying for while you're not here is food. That's it. You still got to pay the rent, lights, water. You still got to pay for residuals. You're going to have to put shit on auto pay so that don't nothing get cut off while you're gone. You still got to have somebody go and collect your mail from you. All this stuff got to get done. If you got pets, somebody's got to take care of pets. All this stuff's good. Whatever you don't take with you, lock cars up. You got to put cars in storage if you don't lock them into the garage so that don't nobody steal your car while you're going. So you're paying for storage. All this stuff is going on. It's not cheap. Then when you come back to America, you got to pick up all your stuff wherever you left it at, and then get back to your regular day-to-day life. But if you're spending $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month in another country, and flights to Asia is like $2,000 sometimes, flights to Russia like $1,500 sometimes. So it's not cheap to even fly there. Hell, a flight to Florida from Central America was $500. So when you start talking about flying to another country, sometimes them flights aren't cheap, and then you got to fly there and you got to fly back. So if it costs you $2,000 to get there, it costs you $5,000 round trip, because you're gonna eat on the plane. Ain't nobody gonna Kamala Harris their way onto a plane talking about, so you should have told me that before I got off the plane. Nah. But in addition to the regional incentives, Russian government has increased maternity payments. America don't do that. So you're getting maternity payments when you take maternity leave because somebody got pregnant. You have first-time mothers that receive 677 rubles, which is around $6,150 starting in 2025. And while mothers having a second child will receive 898,000 rubles, which is approximately $8,130, a one-time payment of 24,600 rubles, about $270, is provided to a family with newborns, along with additional regional benefits that may include gifts or compensation for newborns' necessities. This is the kind of stuff that they doing regardless of what your income status is, because in America, your ass got to be broke as fuck in order for them to give you some money. In other countries, they want to repopulate because they're not satisfied with the population decline, and they will give you money to take care of the child. You're talking about damn near free child support from the government just so that you can spit out kids, because in them countries, the reason why the population is declining is because the low-income individuals, who usually are the ones that overpopulate, don't have enough money to afford to pay for the extra kids. So the government said, in order to repopulate the country, we'll pay for the children if you go ahead and create them. So you can fly to another country, marry a local, whether a female go to the country and marry a local, or a male go to the country and marry a local, drops you some children, government pays for the kid. So when you're looking at 3 children, you still only paying for 2 adults, because the government is going to pay for the 3 children until they're 18. She said, I currently live in Croatia. It's cheap here. My cost of rent, $700, including everything, internet, utilities, 2 bedrooms in the capital. My other expenses are $800. I'm living at $1,500 a month. It could be cheaper. It couldn't be any cheaper. You're right about that. I'm telling you, that's shit. Shoot, I spent that much money. Look, she's talking about $1,500 a month to go and live in Croatia. Sweetheart, I just spent $3,200 to fix the water pump on my car the other day. You just lived the money I spent to fix the water pump on my car. I could have lived in Croatia for 2 months. The lifestyle would cost $5,000 easy in the U.S. for the same lifestyle. I doubt it. I really believe that it would have been closer to $8,000 to $15,000, because America is usually 30% of the American lifestyle. It's usually around about that 25 to 30% of the American lifestyle. So if you're looking at $1,500, I believe that you would have to triple that value in order to be what it could have been in America. Just saying. So you was living off of $1,500 a month. I believe that it probably would have been about $7,500 or $8,000 a month if you was doing that same lifestyle in America. School, healthcare, childcare, and having a cleaner, cook, nanny, and she said are also very cheap. Goodness gracious. Oh my God. Look, hey, I'm trying to tell you. I spent a lot of money. And then they were telling me, $4,500, we'll change out your gaskets. Nah, bro, I'm straight, because you start talking about $10,000. And that's before you start talking about the brakes, rotors, master cylinder. You still got to do the power steering pump. You want $1,000 for the power steering pump. You talk about $1,000 to repair this car. Bro, I could just give the car away, because they're not going to give me no money for it. I could just give the car away and put that $15,000 on a brand new car. I ain't spending all that money. I like, fix my water pump, send me on my way. And then after they fix the water pump, the thermostat's still messing up. I got to bring it back on Thursday. $3,500. That something good. That car went. It's a 2008. That some gun went 12 miles, 13 miles from the dealership to the house, and now I got to drive it back over there. So they go fix it again. It's warranted though. So the only thing I'm doing is wasting my time. They got some good ass coffee over there. I'm gonna take their whole cappuccino machine. She said, I left in 2021. I said everything except my car until 2023. Oh, you sold everything except your car until 2023 because it costs way too much to park it. I ain't gonna lie. I am not gonna lie. The Uber, taxi, transit is so cheap. So you never need a car in so many countries. You're right, because bus fare in Japan is like $2-3. It's like $65 a year, some shit like that. But you also know that if you go to Japan, you can buy you some real estate in Japan because they don't have appreciating value on real estate like we do in America. So you can buy a 30-year-old piece of property for $0, pay the $800 of property taxes, and you can own the whole house. Some of them need to be redeveloped. You might spend $250,000 rebuilding that something, but you can buy it. They got some. Actually, the more expensive ones is like $800 for property taxes, because actually they were talking about like $50 or something to that effect. Like you can buy some plots of land, like a quarter-acre piece of property, a corner lot, for like $50 to $100 US dollars, where the taxes on the property cost more than an annual bus pass with public transportation, and you can get you a scooter and ride places, and you ain't got to really worry about it. Is it real estate is so cheap? I'm trying to tell you. So the investment opportunities in Russia are currently influenced by various economic conditions and geopolitical factors, and the Russian economy is facing significant risks, including stagflation, which is characterized by high inflation and slow growth. Uh, Melissa says people are not dying to own homes here. Well, of course not. Half the people don't got enough money to get it. But I mean, why own that? You got to pay extra money to fix it when you can rent and let somebody else worry about fixing it. Most of us just roll out of bed and walk out the door anyway. So I mean, it's a lot easier when it's the landlord's problem. Not gonna lie, you pay for convenience, to be real. And the difference between you doing it yourself and you paying somebody else to do it versus the landlord doing it, it ain't that much of a difference if you don't want to do it. The economists predict inflation rates around 6% for 2025, which is cheaper than America, because America had 9% this past year, while the economy is expected to grow modestly at about 1.3% to 1.5% over the next year. Russia has been experiencing significant inflation, with consumer prices raising by approximately 9.5% year on year as of December 2024. So that's pretty much on par with what we just had with America for this past year as well. This is driven largely by increases in food prices due to various factors, including climate-related crop failures. So, excuse me. The average monthly salary after taxes is around $644.71. And that right there is going to be the reason why people suffer. That right there is the reason why people suffer. Because this is going to impact the overall affordability and living standards. Because if you can live there for $750, but you're making $644, you are $100 short. You're like $110 short for a standard of living. So a suitable portion of the federal budget is allocated to military spending, which is projected to reach a record of $130 billion in 2025. And this focus on defense may limit funds available for other sectors, impacting overall economic stability. So Melissa is saying, oops, I done knocked it off. Hold on. Come on, give me the words. It won't let me see it. They tripping. All right, y'all. Now I got to read this tiny itty bitty text. Let me get up here because the screen that just did something stupid. So, I'm also Black American. Woo! That's tough, especially in America. And tell my friends to leave because they're so stressed out for nothing, trying to pay bills, mortgaging, uh, affecting their mental health, and we need to know our passports and dollars are worth it. Okay, so I'm gonna tell Melissa's friends, I'm gonna let y'all know if y'all listening to the podcast right. I want y'all to understand that if y'all ass ain't got that passport, that you can go get one for about $235, $250 to spend on what, depending on what state you in. You can spend that extra money to get it expedited to you, get the passport card along with it, spend about $325, get the fuck out of Dodge. You can just you can get you a direct flight, and then after you get you a direct flight, you could go straight to that other country. You might be able to get you a connector with a layover that might be a little bit cheaper, get you out there. You could talk to the flight attendant and see if they can put you in a luggage compartment and charge you a cheaper airplane ticket because you riding with the cargo, and get on out there. Get on out there. It's cheaper. Because look, here goes something that a lot of y'all don't understand. I was talking about this when I talked about all of the incentives from Japan when Korea started talking about offering $72,000 for people dropping babies. I did a whole show about that. I want y'all to understand. So y'all go back and look in the history of this and that and everything in between. I was talking about this on a whole nother level, but I found out because I got a couple of my students that are in Taiwan and Taipei. And Taiwan is doing an incentive where if you fly out of Seattle into Taiwan, that they'll cover your flight, or not your flight, they'll cover your schedule change if you decide to stay extra. And they're talking about covering your first night in Taiwan so that you can, and cover your one of your meals when you go there, so that they can give you a reason to come and wander around Taiwan a little bit before you jump on your flight and go to where you was trying to go in the first place. Also, Asia's been talking about for the past 6 months that they not even charging you for connector flights. So if you fly into Asia, you can fly everywhere else for free as long as you got a US passport. So you really don't have to lock yourself down to one specific location. You can just pack light, which if you got money in different countries, you don't got to bring shit with you but your identification. Pack light, fly over, and then just bounce around from place to place. You take a plane to Hong Kong, you take a plane to Thailand, you take a plane to China, you take a plane to the Philippines, you take a plane to South Korea. Don't go to North Korea, but you go to South Korea, and then you know what I'm saying, and you be good to go from place to place, point to point. It's work. Once you get out there, it's expensive to get there, but once you get out there, transportation is cheap. You can get around real good. And one of the reasons why they're thinner than us, they walk. So just like she was saying earlier, where was it? Walkables. When Melissa said walkables, they be walking out there, y'all. It's not just on them K-pop, them K-dramas that you see on Netflix. Them folks be walking. They don't have cars in their driveway, jumping in their cars and driving everywhere they go. That's what the rich people do. The average individual will walk, ride bicycles, catch rides on scooters, and they make it to where they trying to go rain, sleet, or snow. They and then they social, they hang out, they spend more time eating in groups, which makes eating out cheaper because everybody's contributing to one another instead of it being one person paying for everybody. They have mutual respect for one another. There's a lot of stuff going on in these other countries. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff going on. He said also having a family in these countries is so different. It's more traditional, like the old days. People are not so selfish and friendlier, in my opinion. And kids play outside. You can trust your neighbors. It's very familiar or very family oriented. She's right, because I can tell you that over in Asia, them kids take their ass to school. You make it seem like, yeah, that ain't nothing. Let me say it again. They take their ass to school. These jits, 6, 7, 8 years old, walk themselves to school, never late for school, walk themselves back home from school, nobody's child kidnapped. Now, why in America, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, we sitting there in the parent parking lot, 38 different cars, waiting on our child to come out to school? Because if we don't come and get our child, our child might not make it home. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And it ain't because somebody grown up gonna come snatch a child. It's because a child might disappear and go do something that costs the parents some money. And she says food is so healthy. Oh, of course it is, because everything is made instant, or not made instant. It's made in front of you. Is what I was trying to say. Because like I was talking to one of my students, and he was telling me how they don't do leftovers over there. So everything was made today. So you can go down to the local convenience store and get you something that they done whipped up not too long ago. We here in America, everything we get is frozen, sitting at the grocery store till somebody pick it up. Then we bring it back to the house, sitting in our fridge for another God knows how long, until we decide to pull it out the fridge and heat it up. And we're going to pop it into the microwave, and we're going to eat it. That's the reason why Cooking with Kaya got 1 million something views, because we forgot how to cook for ourselves. We forgot how to cook for our families. We forgot how to cook for each other. We don't take care of one another. And a lot of women find it oppressive to cook for a man. And I'm like, bro, if you know the best way to show that you love somebody is to go cook them something to eat. Make them their favorite meal. It don't matter if you cooking for him today and he cook for you tomorrow, if y'all cooking for each other. And then the third day out the week, y'all can cook together and make that a romantic interlude. Like Sex in the City. You know how many times that woman had sex in her kitchen? Because every time they start cooking in the kitchen, somebody start doing what they got to do in the kitchen. But if everybody's just pop something in the microwave and hand it to somebody, or order takeout, and then when DoorDash get to the house, that's all y'all gonna eat, that it's so impersonal. Most of us still grew up in an era, especially those that are middle age. We grew up in an era where we felt love because mama came home, daddy came home, and they was cooking for us after they worked a full-time job. So we know that we mattered to folks. When we had those of us that got our hair did by our family members, they ain't had to tell you they love you every day. They tell you, bring your ass over here, sit down, I'm gonna braid your scalp. That was how they show you that they cared. Come on up in here, come sit down and get you something to eat. They tired, back hurt, fell on the job, but they're gonna stand up at the kitchen counter and make you something to eat before they go lay down and rub themselves down with some icy hot. That's how they show you that they care. So when everybody here in America get offended by the traditionalism that we long since forgot, which is why Trump said earlier today he gonna get rid of woke, because we done forgot all about how to be respectful to one another. Self-respect is gone. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why we feel like we being treated like shit by the opposite sex, because we don't respect each other and we don't respect ourselves. And then we support disrespectful behavior. And because we support disrespectful behavior, you cannot put weed killer in your flower garden and then think you're going to come back and see some damn flowers. We cannot promote negative behavior, laughing and joking at it, kikiing at it, applauding it, thumbs up, liking it, following it, subscribing to it, and then say we want to look for somebody with some common sense and some civil decency. We're not going to find it. Because if everybody getting 1 million views by making an ass out of themselves, and who the hell is going to not be goddamn Steve-O from Jackass? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But this is one of very few podcasts where I'm not talking shit about nobody, but I'm going to give you some information, some knowledge. I'm going to educate you. I'm going to motivate you. It's not one-sided, because I talk to the women about how they could be better so that they can find a better way of life. And I talk to the men about how they got to do the exact same thing, because a woman can't find a man of value if she doesn't carry herself respectfully and valuably. And she's not going to find a qualifiable man that's going to keep her if she's not working towards being his partner. Likewise, the men are not going to be able to find a woman that is valuable if he ain't shit. He's got to make his self-worth something so that she will value him, because she values him based off of what he can do for her, and he values her based off of what she's willing to do for him. It is a symbiotic relationship. I am always uniform on this podcast. So at the end of the day, it's hard to find people that respect themselves and will get here and do that kind of it. The hardest thing to find is a podcast that is sitting over here talking about some shit that makes sense, that the day-to-day person can benefit from. Because we can sit here and talk shit all day long. We can sit here and shoot the breeze about what famous people are doing out there with their billions of dollars, and none of us got no money. I sit here every week talking about ways we can make money, ways that we can invest money, ways that we can save money, ways that we can spend less money. I'm not going to finish talking about Russia before I tell you about 8 different ways that you can make you some money in Russia. Right? And when I was talking to you yesterday about TikTok, I told you about investing in T-Mobile stock because they're going to T-Mobile fiber. I'm not going to touch on a topic without telling you about some kind of way where you're going to make some money. By the time I finish the show, I'd have told you at least 3 to 5 ways that you could have made some money. You could have saved some money. You could have invested your money somewhere else, and you would be living in a financially feasible situation that could turn into a profitable situation where you will not be struggling over time, because self-medicating, because your woes of being broke allows you to be depressed that you don't got enough money to make ends meet. You take that depression, go to the liquor store, buy drugs and alcohol, which is wasting even more money. Now you're going to do those drugs and alcohol, smoke you some weed, smoke you some cigarettes. That money that you spending usually amounts to almost $15,000 out of your $75,000 a year income, and you're trying to live a $79,000 a year lifestyle, and you're $15,000 short because of your habits. And then you come to find out that you're deeper in the hole because you wasted all that money getting drunk last night because you was depressed over the fact that your life ain't the way you want it to be. But if you change your life and invest that party money into ways that you can make money for you, you will be able to make a shit ton of money. Because I'm not gonna keep reminding y'all that y'all can go and invest in Orchid at 18.46% interest on a REIT. If you go to Stash app, STASH, go and download that shit. Go and get you $8 or $9 a share. You can go and get you some 18.46% interest stock options, and you could just put your extra, and the REITs are going to pay you back every month as opposed to the blue chip companies that pay you back every quarter. So you start putting money in there and you could just keep getting, and at 100 shares is what, $830. 3 dates in a week is the same amount of money. And you could be investing in stocks and bonds. You can invest in some gold right before gold flip. You can invest in some silver before silver skyrocket. If you wait until the end of Q1, right at the beginning of Q2, and you invest in Bitcoin, when it starts going back down, because it's going to go back down a little bit, and then it's going to skyrocket one more again, and you'll be able to be on that ride when it starts going back up between Q2 and Q3, and it's going to peak at the end of Q3, right before Q4, and then it's going to start going back down again. If you just hold on to your cash and then you go put it in over there, get you some Bitcoin. Trying to tell you. Melissa said dating overseas is very different and not as crazy compared to the US. The US is the Riley theory. You are renting females because the mentality of the women in America is that they are attractive, so they deserve money. But the women are not looking for a partner in life that will protect and provide for them. The women are looking for a paymaster. They're looking for a free ATM machine, hopefully one that they don't have to reciprocate with. And if they reciprocate, they're only willing to reciprocate with sex. They're not reciprocating with effort. They're not reciprocating with value. So now the men are going to ask you what your price is. Steak and lobster. I'm going to take you out for steak and lobster 2 or 3 times, $300 a night. By the third night, that's what? $900. First night in the bedroom. When adult freelance workers are like half that price, maybe a third of that price. But this is what we do because men are desperate and women forgot what their worth is. Because back in the day, the women used to be so valuable to the men because the women handled all the money. The man brought the money home, gave it to his woman, and the woman handled all the money. And she made sure that everybody was taken care of before she did anything for herself. And if there wasn't enough money to go around, she went undone. But she made sure that the kids were taken care of, the house was taken care of, the husband was taken care of. If there wasn't enough money there, she would go and tell them there wasn't enough money there. Now, you give a woman $1,000, that money is gone. She ain't paying for shit. But you got you a good woman if you hand her $1,000 and she bring you back $1,100. Because you could have just said, here, handed it to her, no strings attached. You hand her $1,000, she bring you back $1,100. That's a good woman right there. Because she gonna make sure that y'all not failing. But you give a woman $1,000 and that money just gone. That's not the kind of a test you want to do on a regular basis. But you understand that you got one that's not trying to make sure that the operation succeeds. She gonna say thank you, or she gonna walk away, and that's not good for the relationship. Because if the man don't provide, the woman gonna leave. But if she's investing in him and he's investing in a relationship, then whenever he gets extra, he gonna give it to her. She don't need to look for a generous man. She just need to look for a man that's got his shit together, that's got his priorities on point, and then she want to make sure that her priorities in line with his priorities, like Michelle Obama did. She working for the Justice Department, social justice. How did she make her career skyrocket? Make her husband president. What was her intentions 100% selfish? No. She helped her husband get a Nobel Peace Prize so that she could run her career. So why do people not have that mentality? Instead of focusing on number one, why can't I be number two and focus on you first so that your success makes me successful? Doesn't that make sense? So Melissa said, invest living off dividends. That's what I've been saying, y'all. Off stocks, etc. Understand the market, but if you can live well for less than 15,000 a year and save and invest at the same time, you will be ahead and happier life. Life is definitely too short because you know what? I said this just yesterday. If you get a stack of cash, that's your principal. You spend your principal is gone. You got to go back out there and make that money again. If you take your principal and put it somewhere where your principal is making dividends, I said this just yesterday. You can be wasteful with your dividends. You can't be wasteful with your principal. Your principal is supposed to make you returnable money. That way you can utilize that money to live. Eventually, the American dream is to stop working at some point and live. The second half of your marriage is because y'all work to stop working so that y'all can enjoy the rest of y'all life together, because building memories was supposed to be the object of the game, not slaving away, making Elon Musk and Donald Trump rich, making Jeff Bezos rich while y'all protesting at Amazon and all them damn AIs that Jeff Bezos own from Digitech is running around the Amazon warehouse outworking the human workers, and y'all sitting over here talking about something y'all want some $35-$40 an hour. You need to be wanting to make your own damn job and get your own damn investment opportunities into some tech industries so that you can get paid to sit at home so that you're not competing against iRobot. Because eventually they're going to fire your ass. You seen Elon Musk put out 10 or 15 of them damn robots that's mixing drinks in the bar. Y'all see the electric car. Y'all sitting over here trying to get jobs as Uber drivers. And y'all see that Elon Musk just made a car last year that's going to be mainstream next year, talking about some of the car drivers' goddamn self. So does Uber really need to hire anybody if Uber buy 100,000 of them damn cars? No, they can fire every human worker that they got and just fill the lot with electric self-driving cars, like that one self-driving car company in New York. They had like 50 cars on the lot. Trying to tell y'all now, they got self-driving trucks and everything out here. Y'all gonna be hard up for employment. Not I, because every engineer got to learn basic English, math, science. And guess what? I'm going to teach it to you. So I'm going to get paid to help you get your tech degree so that you can go build them damn robots. And they're not going to replace me because I ain't even doing business in America. My whole clientele is in Asia. Melissa said dating culture is gone in America. It's so terrible. Other countries, it's teamwork and building a family. And that's what we talk about on this podcast. Why the hell are we not focusing on teamwork and building family here in America? She said lifestyle is so bad in the U.S. Everyone keeps buying and spending and worthless things. They're buying and spending on worthless things while getting into debt, trying to look good in expensive clothes and gadgets. Those things don't make you happy, but broke. Hey, if you got more monetary value in stuff in front of your face and what you've got liquidatable assets in your bank account, you fucking up. You don't tell me that you got a phantom out front and you got a $200,000 house, or no, that's cheap. You got a $750,000 house and you sitting over here talking about something. You got $75 in a bank account. You are supposed to have 3 times more cash accessible in your liquidatable funds than what you have in physical material possessions. So if you've got a $300,000 house, you should have $900,000 somewhere. If you've got a $100,000 car, you should have $300,000 somewhere. If you went and bought you a $1,000 WWE championship title trying to be Randy Orton, you should have you $2,000 extra dollars sitting somewhere. All I'm saying. Having nice things, but have assets. Look, you got to have some money, man, because look at what happened in California. California got burned to the ground. A lot of people lost all the shit they bought. Look at what happened in Florida. After they got flooded, the electric cars burnt their houses to the ground. All their shit gone. But guess what's still there? The money in the bank, the money in the stock option. So instead of wasting all that money on bullshit, you should be investing in ways to live a better life. I'm going to tell you real quick. Ongoing Western sanctions have created challenges for Russian businesses, particularly in accessing technology capital. So, despite these challenges, Russia has been able to find buyers for its oil, which remains a critical source of revenue. And Russia's energy sector continues to be a focal point for investment. So, if you really wanted to invest in Russia, you can go over there and invest in their technology since they don't have enough people to invest, and they're going to give you some good interest rates there. You can also invest in oil and gas production, and opportunities exist for companies involved in energy extraction, processing, and distribution. So, with the government's emphasis on improving transportation and logistics, there may be investment opportunities in infrastructure projects, especially those that align with Russia's strategic goals. So, giving global food supply concerns, investments in agriculture. I was about to say architecture, but you need more agriculture than architecture because you got to build it, but you got to grow it too. And this could be promising, especially as Russia seeks to enhance its self-sufficiency in food production. So, although the sanctions limit access to certain technologies, there may still be opportunities in domestic tech development and innovation as Russia seeks to reduce reliance on foreign technology, especially since they're turning the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America and they're about to buy Canada, talking about some, yeah, we're going to send some troops over there. He did hit the, we can buy TikTok. It's worth trillions of dollars. Yeah, ban them if they don't let us buy them out. And then we're going to go march on Canada. Tripping. But capitalism, oppress the opposition and then buy them out. Melissa says Russia and China are two amazing countries to live in with opportunities we don't get exposed to. Of course, because why would America show Americans ways that Americans can do better away from America? That's what you got podcasts like me for. I'm going to let you know that there's more than one place that you can go. There is always another way. You're supposed to keep your mind open, your eyes open, and your ears clear so that you can see and hear all of the opportunities that pass you by on a day-to-day basis. And if you start finding other places to be successful, you can start setting your 20-year plan or your 10-year plan to end up somewhere else doing better. Because sometimes all you need is a different environment. And you can go from barely getting by and potentially being a failure in life to being ultimately successful. Especially when the chips ain't stacked against you. You don't need affirmative action if you go to another country where everybody's doing worse than you. You could just go over there and just start off. You can hit the ground running. The potential for economic recession in currency depreciation poses risks for investors, but analysts predict that the ruble could weaken significantly against the US dollar, which means that if you go over there with US dollars, that means that your money is going to hold more weight in that country. So the investment climate can be unpredictable due to changes in regulations and government policies, particularly under current geopolitical tensions. But ongoing conflicts in international relations can affect market stability in investor confidence. Now, I'm going to keep going into some other stuff about Russia. I'm not just going to talk about business and finance because Russia's birth rate has reached its lowest point in 25 years with only 599,600 children born in the first half of 2024. We had more children born in 1 month in America than what they had born in the first half of the year. So this trend has raised concerns about future populations of Russia, promoting the government to introduce these fiscal incentives as part of the strategy to reverse the decline. So many women cited financial constraints as a primary reason for delaying or avoiding parenthood. So the government's measures aim to alleviate some of the economic pressures, but have faced circumstances for being insufficient in addressing overall costs of raising children, but they at least put some efforts into it. In addition to financial incentives, the Russian government has also taken steps to promote traditional family values and discourage child-free lifestyles, and this includes banning propaganda that promotes a child-free way of life and emphasizing the importance of larger family for national stability. And, oh, hold on a second. As of Let me get this out here. As of 2025, January 2025, Russia offers various incentives for foreign nationals and companies looking to invest or establish operations in the country, where you can reduce corporate tax rates. And the standard corporate tax rate is 20%, but it can be reduced to 15.5% for certain activities in certain regions. Companies engaging in specific sectors, such as technology and innovation, may receive and qualify for 0% profit taxes under certain conditions. And foreign investors can benefit from tax exemption and reduced rates in designated SEZs, which promote business development and investment. I told y'all that before the show was going to end. I was going to tell you where you could go to put your money, so your money making money for you. And then I just tell you tax exempt over there and tax exempt from the U.S. up to $120,000. All right, I can't tell y'all enough where there's ways where we can make us some money. Melissa says lots of these other countries are growing and need new business investments. And they also need fresh blood in their bloodline. So we can go out there and we can swing it wild, and we can go out there and go get us a whole bunch of children. It's hard to get one child in America with the women cutting their hair off their head protesting because they don't got a plan B and an abortion clinic on every corner next to a Taco Bell. But you go over to some of them other countries and they're like, contraceptives, what's that? Trying to drop babies. And they're not even trying to put you on child support. But check this out. These zones often provide significant tax relief, including exemptions from property taxes and reduced profit tax rates. So companies involved in regional investment projects may receive federal tax level tax exemptions. So if you have an LLC or a C corporation from the United States, remember I told you about setting one of those up? I did a whole show about setting up a C corporation, an LLC, and a trust, where you could put those businesses into the trust. I did a whole show about all three of them situations. And you could take that and then you can do a foreign domestic and set up a business over there. And then you can start investing into some of that stuff over there, start making money for your business, for yourself in that country, where you still ain't got to worry about what's going on over here in America. So there's also regional investment tax relief provided under local laws to attract businesses to specific areas. So companies conducting eligible research and development activities can take a 150% super deduction on profit tax, reducing their taxable income significantly. Accelerated depreciation on fixed assets under the used R&D permit. And these areas offer specific legal regimes that provides favorable conditions for attracting investments and promoting accelerated economic development. I'm about to get into the relationship side of things, so don't think that I forgot about that. Investors in SDAs may receive various tax benefits and subsidies. Companies participating in the Skolikov project can avail themselves of 10 years tax holiday. What? So you're going to get, that's the longest, that is the most complex way to say it. You're going to get a 10-year tax holiday aiming to stimulate innovation in technology sectors. Now, the foreign nationals can easily establish companies in Russia with minimal shareholder requirements, often just one shareholder, and shelf companies, or shell companies is what we call them in America, but shelf companies are available for quick incorporation. And Russia's strategic location provides access to both European and Asian markets, making it an attractive jurisdiction for international business opportunities. So look at this. We got also, most of these developing countries don't have all the things we have. So those ideas, business ideas, could do well in these countries easily. You're not lying. The stuff that we thought up here in America, somebody probably did 30 times over. But because they didn't think about that over there, or they don't have the resources to do that over there, we could take an idea here in America, bring it over there to Russia, and go make it work over there. And we can ship the resources from China, because China make all the technology, and bring it over to Russia and build it. All we need to do is have the blueprint. I got a story up here about there's a story about a woman named Sarah that was an American expat who left the States, and she wanted to pursue a career in Moscow. she was drawn to the Russian vibrant culture scene and the incredible food. So I'm going to have to go out there. And they had friendly locals as well. Despite the initial culture shock, which everyone is going to experience when you leave America, there is going to be a massive culture shock, whether it's cleanliness, toiletries, transportation, lack of internet access, no TikTok. You're gonna experience some kind of culture shock. Sarah quickly adapted to her new surroundings and found a job as a market specialist at a Russian startup. And she loved the fast paced environment and the creative freedom and the sense of community that she had found in Moscow. So Sarah's experience is not an isolated one because Melissa also had a fantastic one. So many expats have found success in other countries like Russia, whether it is in business, art, or education, and they've discovered a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, and a sense of fulfillment that elude them back home. Melissa says we have a blueprint. We have the blueprint already. It's just costly and bring it there. Well, it ain't that expensive to go get it because patents are like $2,000 to $3,000. So I mean, if you're going to rent a patent, you know, it just really depends on what you're trying to do with it and how much they're going to charge you for it. But I mean, if you're investing, you can rent the patent. Yo, Ruderus, it's good to see you, buddy. How's chess holding you down? Uh, of course, while he's giving us a good response here, of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. So there are some challenges. They have some language barriers, some cultural differences to navigate through. But for those willing to take the leap, Russia offers a unique blend of old world charm and modern day opportunities. Because in Russia, the treatment of men by women is influenced by traditional gender roles and cultural norms. I told y'all we were going to get to this. Russian women are often viewed as the prettier sex, which shapes their behavior and social expectations. They're typically dressed elegant and maintain a polished appearance, which reflects cultural values around femininity and attractiveness. So, Russian men are generally expected to act in a chivalrous manner, such as holding doors open and offering their seat to women. And this behavior is ingrained in social norms and reflects a sense of respect towards women, which we do not have in America. Despite some progress in gender equality, many Russians hold traditional views regarding gender roles. A significant portion of the population believe that men should be the primary breadwinners, while women's highest mission is often viewed as being a good wife and mother. Now, this perspective can lead to a sense of noble chauvinism where men may express admiration for women while still expecting them to conform to traditional roles. But surveys indicate that Russians tend to have conservative attitudes towards gender roles, with many believing that traditional roles are best suited for society, which we have also forgotten in America. So, for instance, 71% of Russians agree that women should not work outside of the home. I believe you can do whatever the hell you want to do outside of the home as long as you love, respect, value, and appreciate me when you get back. But this reflects a preference for traditional family structures in Russia. While legally women have rights to equal that are equal to men, societal attitudes often reinforce traditional gender dynamics. So many women report experiencing casual sexism and pressure to fulfill specific roles within the family. But there has been some in gradual liberation in attitudes towards uh, intimate relationships with increased tolerance for premarital sex and evolving views on women's uh, participation in the workforce. So y'all trying to find y'all a traditional woman in Russia, y'all better hurry up and get over there before they become Americanized, because once they start coming out here like Bad Girls Club, you can't tell them shit. So Ruderus, you said you hit 2200 in bullet chess. Ooh, that's hard. I got ACM title in FIDE. Oh, congratulations. Shoot, I'll be trying to do bullet chess. They'll hit me up to like, I'll get to about 18, 1900. They knock me all the way back down. I was using nukes. Melissa says most of the immigrants who come to the U.S. leave their countries because of salary, name brand education, You ain't lying, but will tell you they lived better in their home country and it's cheaper, but still want to stay. Well, they want to stay in America because they ain't got nothing going for them in their own country. In their own country, they can find a better way to go when they get to America because they get to America with good credit. You don't When you're born in America, you don't always get born in America with good credit. You come up in a low income family, you end up with low income credit. Believe it or not. You welcome, Ruderus. He says chess is all about practice. It's about practice and patience, buddy. But yeah, when they come here, they have that good credit. They have the ability to borrow. They have the ability to manage their money wisely. And because they come here with good business sense when they're given credit from America, they haven't fucked their credit up to the point where they can't borrow nothing. Because we can't start up a lot of businesses because we made a bunch of bad decisions financially growing up. We made a bunch of bad decisions financially in the last 8 months, and now we're trying to do right. And as soon as we go talk to the lender talking about something you should have been doing right for the past 2 to 3 years before you came to talk to me. So we don't know no better. So yeah, they're going to stay in America because while it's more expensive in America, they got the job that will pay for their standard of living. They have the credit line to be able to balance stuff. And if any time situation starts getting hard, they can digitally nomad their job back to their hometown, save their money up, and come back to America. We can't do that. Times get hard, we can't move to a cheaper part of the country and be able to go back to where we came from. If we move, that's it. We stuck there. And if we can't afford to move, we stuck there. We got to find a way to make money for us, because if not, we gonna suffer. That we don't have a second option. If foreign national, if they don't like what's going on in America, if the money ain't right in America, like all of the foreign nationals that lived in California, they ain't sitting there with masks on the news, not knowing what's going on. Everybody hopped a flight from Seattle back to Taiwan and said, I'll wait till the fire stop before I go back. That's it. That's it. But see, an American, your whole neighborhood then burned to the ground, and you are gonna, if your house is still standing, put your mask on, wrap yourself up in what little bit of ashed out blanket you got left, wrap up in that and take your ass to bed, because the insurance company ain't trying to pay your ass. She said, very true, but I believe it's ego too, because they told everyone it's better and we're sold the lie too. Look, I tell everybody, we cannot statistically be on paper the best country in the world when we're not in the top 100 in any category in the world. We are rumored as the best country in the world because the fantasy is that everybody want to come here. But the recognition that everybody that's here don't want to stay here. It's like getting a job at a fast food restaurant because they're always hiring. They pay high money. But why do they have a high turnover ratio if the job is so good and the money is so good? That's because the job is shit. That's why. But you have to understand, just like the job, the people make the environment. So the reason why the country ain't the way people would prefer it to be is because the people in the country ain't put in the effort to make it worth staying in. Because we focus on ourselves instead of each other. We're selfish and we're wasteful. And then when times get tough, we focus on the grind to try to make back all the money we spent doing something stupid. Talking about some YOLO. Ain't no damn YOLO. Why waste your money now for in the moment satisfaction when you can invest your money today and have a lifetime of satisfaction down the line? You need to make your later greater so that when your future becomes your present, past misery is no longer here. But if you waste money right now because it's convenient for you, we're blowing off some steam that threw $100,000 to the wind, and now you broke as fuck. How many people do you think would have still had money if Kamala Harris would have gave all the black people $1.3 million when she got to presidency? Would have put the country into trillions of dollars of debt, but how many people would have had some damn money? And if she would have gave the money in January, how many folks do you believe would have still had some of that money in March? That's how serious it is. Melissa says, now the middle class are becoming the poor, like these developing countries struggling to survive. Oh, you don't know, Melissa. Check this out. So the working class in the 1970s was the top of the poor class. The working class used to be the upper lower class financially. Okay, so everybody watching the podcast right now, we had about 5,000 of y'all up in here in a couple hours time yesterday, and I want to tell y'all real quick, the working class in America right now is making $1,625 a week. That is the poor class financially in America because of inflation. That is statistics as of February of last year, which means that in February of this year, that statistic is going to be slightly higher. They're going to be closer to $1,700 a week is poor. Okay. So anybody who's watching the podcast right now, you ain't got to throw your hands up. You can hit the like button in the comment section. You can hit some of them hearts on the show and throw some 100s into the feed, because we are streaming on the shorts reel. And if you are not making $1,625 a week, start hitting one of them buttons, start mashing some of them buttons so that people can come over here and listen to what the fuck we talking about. Because I'm gonna tell you real quick, I did not believe that poor people were making almost 75,000 to 79,000 a year. Poor people. But government benefits cut you off at 30,000. Weird. She said, but reparations of a type of education, healthcare, food, and housing, etc. Reparations ain't gonna help nobody because they're wasteful. Give them $1.5 million, they're gonna buy themselves a Rolls Royce and a $500,000 house, and they're gonna be broke right after that. Can't afford the car insurance on the Rolls Royce, can't afford the property taxes on the house, can't afford the taxes on the money that they get if it's not tax free, can't afford to pay for the utilities in that $500,000 house, but they got them a brand new car and a brand new house. That's all they're gonna do. That first thing they're gonna do is buy a luxury car and a big ass house. That's what they're gonna do. Real quick back on these Russia folks, because we got a few more minutes left on this one. Because however, these changes are slow and often met with resistance from more conservative segments of the society, we have to realize that overall, while the cost of living in Russia remains low compared to plethora of areas around the world and far less cheaper than America, we have to remember that raising inflation and food prices is a challenge for the local residents there. It ain't challenging for me when you're telling me that milk is $1 over there. They said milk is a 92 cent. I ain't seen 92 cent for milk since 96. Now, particularly those in the low income brackets are going to be having a hard time in those countries. But if you're going to their country from America, even if you are making $1,500 a month in America, if you're able to make that money online and you move to Russia, that $1,500 a month will give you like $700 a month worth of profit left over, and you'd be living a good life. There are also some investment opportunities in specific sectors such as energy, infrastructure, and agriculture. You can always go into real estate in any country, start up business, liquidate assets, and the potential for investors will be considered associated risks due to the economic volatility. But you also have to understand that even though there is geopolitical tensions and regulatory challenges, that you can still make a considerable quantity of capital over there, and you can revolutionize whatever the fuck that's mainstreamed in America. You can revolutionize it over there in Russia because they don't have access to it. So conducting thorough market research and risk assessments is essential before making investment decisions. And that's why I was talking to you guys on Friday and Saturday about living a slow life, because if you take your time and make intentional decision-making steps instead of making impulsive short-term decisions, then you will be able to be more financially successful. If you ever find that you are not going to benefit from investing that money into this situation but one time, which is in the moment, it's a waste of money. If it doesn't have residuals, if it doesn't have repetitive returns, if you do not benefit more from it than you cost or invested in it, you need to cut that shit loose. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, Women need to start investing in men like men are walking stock options, because the good men are generous. The good men are going to take the extra money that they don't spend on bills and spend it on a woman. So if a woman wants a generous man, you need to help that man be more financially successful so that he got more money so that he can spend it on you. But if you take that money and you put it into a trust, and that trust is paying you dividends, and every time he give you money, instead of you building an escape fund at 0.5% interest rates, you put that shit up into a trust where that trust is giving you back 12 or 13% interest rates, and then you ain't got to run from your man because you got a whole allowance every month that's paying you on top of him giving you shit. And if you're taking care of him the way he's taking care of you, then he gonna put more effort into taking care of you, because don't no man want to be outdone by his woman taking good care of him. He gonna feel spoiled, and he ain't gonna treat her bad. What he gonna do is, because he being treated like a king, he gonna treat her like a queen. But you treat him like shit, he gonna cheat on you with your sister. Think about it. So Russia's offering a range of incentives aimed at attracting foreign investments, though favorable tax regimes. You're looking at these specialized economic zones, and you're also looking at the support from the innovation and development projects that the country supports. And every country has these types of things going on. As long as you take careful consideration with associating your risks with the potential investments of these particular projects, you'll be able to make sure that there's a long-term return, whether it's a slow long-term return or a high short-term return. You'll be able to manage your the life expectancy of your investment, and also be able to pay attention to your risk tolerance. So Russia's initiatives that's going to be boosting birth rates through financial incentives is going to be reflecting urgent response to the demographic challenges. And while these measures are aimed to encourage young families to improve economic conditions for parenting, ongoing social issues, economic realities, and continue to influence decisions about parenthood among Russian citizens, Russia is not going to object with you taking your black ass from America, going over there and swinging yo mandango all over the place and getting everybody pregnant. So why are we not trying to find other cultures to plant that seed and expand our lineage, instead of being told that we're incels because we don't want to take this chick someplace other than the Cheesecake Factory? I'm just trying to figure, because I love strawberry cheesecake. I don't understand why they don't like the Cheesecake Factory. I guess they consider that low class. I don't understand. Melissa says most women in America don't even want to marry early or settle down because of career. And I was guilty of that. We were sold lies that lost common sense. But you got to understand that women don't actually open their mind to the truth until they middle age. It's already too late. Women believe that men want financially successful women, and they don't. Men want partners. It's not just about sex. Men want partners that's going to help them be successful, build a family together, build a career together, build a family business together that we could teach the kids and teach the grandkids, and we can retire and the kids can take care of us, kind of situation. Women want to be alpha boss ladies where they're telling the men what to do. They don't feel like they're equal if they're not bullying a man. And it makes absolutely no fucking sense. But if the man treated her the way she's treating him, she would say he's abusive. Well, ma'am, if you're treating him like shit and he can't treat you like that, then you shouldn't be treating him like that. A lot of the women are sitting over here thinking that chasing your career is the best thing for you. No, being financially self-sufficient is the best thing for you. But being open to the opportunity to make yourself successful with a partner is the best thing for you. So you're not supposed to be just on your career track, because also here's another problem, ladies. And we've been talking about this over the past week too. Y'all are more fertile when you're younger. You're only legally able to start dropping children when you're 18, but you start off really able to drop them between 15 and 18. And you really start losing more than 75% of your eggs by the time you're between 25 and 30 years old. And at that point, when you're in your 30s, your risk assessment for birth starts going up, especially minority women. So now your pregnancies are high risk pregnancies, and you have a higher risk for birth defects. And the fact is that I've told you guys this story for a while now, that there was a black man that lived to be 130 years old in slavery, and he was able to have 209 children in the 130 years of his life. I'm going to tell you, women don't drop but one child a year. There's no way that any one woman would be able to give birth to 209 children when they're legally allowed to start dropping kids at 18, and they're going to probably stop dropping kids at 38. That's like 28 years. And then right after that, menopause. So you're only going to get like 20 kids at the most, but most families stop at 5. A lot of people cut and tie at 3. So when you start talking about, oh, I'm going to chase my career first, and then I'm going to be a mother at 35, 37, 39. You're not going to be no dad. You're going to adopt a child at 39, but you're not going to give birth to no child, not without health risks, dying on an altar and stuff like that. Who needs a partner when you can build an army? Well, you might be one of those people that want to pay $150,000 for that female AI that'll do whatever you want her to do, Dunkin' a Cosmic Donut and whatnot, trying to relive the Sarah Jane Chronicles, trying to relive Dollhouse. But the rest of us is looking for human companionship and being able to have a lineage, because your legacy is not just the money that you leave behind. The legacy is the family and the bloodline that you leave behind. And it's also the ability to make other people successful, because the best legacy is the ability to make the people around you successful. That is the best legacy. Martin Luther King wasn't just popular because he talked on a thing that got shot. He helped change people. That's why we still talking about him and naming streets after him and naming parks and libraries after him, because this man changed shit. The legacy of the success of the people around you is what makes your name last longer, not just putting your name on a building, because Trump got his name on 3 buildings in Miami, and I can tell you 2 of them bitches is closed down. So, but the shit that he changed in his government, oh, they're going to be talking about Trump for 100 years. She said, last 10 years, there was a push for the so-called 6-figure man, and 99% of men under 30 or 40 aren't making 100,000. Having lots of money isn't a need to have a family. Wait for a man. Our culture is bad. Our culture is terrible. Look, I can tell you right now, they doing that push for the 6-figure, and it's not even a 6-figure man right now. It's a 7-figure man right now, and they want $100 to $150,000, and these women ain't making 50,000. But the median 2-party income is 72,000, which means he making 45 and she making he making 45 and she making 32 or something like that. So I don't understand why. Or he making 43 and she making 38, something to that effect, somewhere around that area. It's gonna add up to 72. I'm tired. I've been up since yesterday. I ain't doing the math right, but I can tell you right now, these females is chasing. If you not making 2 bags so that you can give her 1 bag, she ain't trying to talk to your ass. You got to cash app her money to go out on a date. Then you got to take her somewhere expensive. This shit is ridiculous. And at the end of the day, what are these women doing to deserve this? A man has to spend 3/4 of his life to make himself that successful. And you're going to tell me that after he qualifies for you, taking 3/4 of his life to make himself successful, you don't even qualify for him. Because what men want is a partner, cooperation, purity. He don't want you to be used up with 9,000 bodies on you. He don't want you to be 13 kids down the line cut and tie. He trying to have a woman that ain't got trauma. He trying to find a woman that ain't been destroyed. We're looking for the type of woman that is not selfish because she dated selfish men. Because we know that there are men out there that ain't shit. But we also understand that after you've had the top 1% corrupt you mentally, now you are acting like the top 1%, corrupting the good men. Because after you finish destroying the good men, then the good men are going to be destroying the good women, and we're going to have a vicious cycle of bad. DJ tells me that he's an anti-socialist. I don't really mind. I don't really mind if you're an anti-socialist. I'm anti-social a lot of the times, but that don't change the fact that I'm not going to go and play with robots. Well, I'll go find me 2 I can go to the Philippines and I can find me 2 women for the cost of an annual World of Warcraft membership. And they will cook, clean, wait on me hand and foot, take care of my father, watch my dogs. I ain't got to do shit. I'm just trying to tell you. I know you said anti-nationalist. You said anti-nationalist, and I said anti-social. I know what I said. She said it's communist. Look, well, I've been telling people it was a communist situation when you're sharing resources until they started turning it into a capitalist country. They want the finest things versus a happy life. Yeah, they ain't looking for a happy life. They're not looking for stability. They're looking for entertainment. They're looking for somebody who's going to pay for their entertainment. They're going to ride all the rides at the fair. They're going to get used up. They're going to have no traction. It's going to be like throwing a hot dog in the Grand Canyon. And then after they back blown out, pelvis bone fracture, going to the chiropractor on a regular basis. After they had dated Chris Brown for 6 months, been thrown down a flight of stairs, punched in the eye, dislocated rotator cuff, broken jaw. Now they're going to want to find a good man 3 baby daddies down the line. And they want that good man to take care of these 3 children like they're his because she can't have no more kids. That's the stupidity that we got to deal with. And Melissa said, yep, and everybody doesn't want to be average. But do you realize that above average is average now because everybody's got a bachelor's degree so that they can work at a fast food restaurant and put on a Winnie the Pooh costume? And she said, and most, if not all of us, are average. Exactly. Getting all these men and women going crazy in these streets. Shake my head. You ain't lying, because at the end of the day, you know the funniest thing I see? Okay, so short women, 4'11", wearing 5'6" stilettos. Now, after she wear the 5'6" stilettos, she says she wants a 6'5" man. She talking about she wants a 6'5" man because she want a tall man. She don't want the man that's 5'6". She want the man that's taller than her because she's wearing 6-inch stilettos. Well, if you take off the goddamn stilettos, the 5'6" man is taller than you. So if you wear some damn flats, you got you a tall man. Then the tall women don't want the short men neither. The tall women want the tall men too. But guess who got all the goddamn money? Kevin Hart, 5'4". Shit. Floyd Mayweather, 5'6". You ain't got too many Kareem Abdul-Jabbars that's sitting over there 6'9", 7'1", multi-millionaire. You want $100,000 a year man. You want $150,000 a year man. You want you a 5'7", 5'8" black man. That's what you want. Because if you don't, you're gonna find one doing cocaine like Scarface. These rich men cheat. You think that, oh, you're gonna get you a loyal man because you're a rich shit. Nick Cannon had 5 children a month apart in the same year. That means he had 5 women the year before, a month apart. These women ain't complaining because they get child support off of his ass. They don't got to work no more because of the kind of child support he paying for these chillings. But see, a broke man ain't gonna be able to swing like that. Oh, this dude says, are you an incel? Well, no, I'm not. Why do I have to be an incel because I talk the truth? Y'all were trolling me like this yesterday. When I talk the truth about shit, y'all don't want to hear. Y'all want to come and make it seem like I'm fucked up in the head because I'm talking about it. Y'all like to shame men that speak out on the shit that's fucked up that we allow to happen that we could be changing. But you miserably are talking about you're an anti-nationalist, and the only reason why your ass is an anti-nationalist is because you hate the country that you're living in because you can't make no changes in the country because you're too damn lazy to invest in your own goddamn success. That's the reason why you're an anti-nationalist. Because at the end of the day, as much as I don't like the things that go wrong in my country, I'm self-successful. I am not self-made. I am self-successful because other people aided in my success because I know how to take advantage of opportunities. If somebody tells me that I can make $3 an item on something, I'm going to turn it into $300,000 a year. You tell me that there's an opportunity to make money somewhere, I'm going to go over there and go make that money. If you introduce me to somebody that's going to invest in me so that I can invest in them so that we can invest in something that's going to make us all rich, I'm going to go over there and spend that time, spend that effort, spend that money. You worried about anti-nationalism. You one of them sovereign nation son bitches that's sitting over there getting pulled over because you don't want to claim that you're a U.S. citizen. Fuck that shit. Send me a stimulus check. I don't give a damn. You can go ahead and burn this country to the ground like you done burnt down California. When the first time somebody told me that California was on fire, I said, are you serious? I didn't even smell smoke because I don't give a fuck. I am going to make my money whether I'm in a shitty country or not. And I'm going to get on this podcast every day of the week, 7 nights a week, 10 o'clock Eastern time, or 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock California time. And I'm going to let y'all know other ways that y'all can make money. And I'm not just telling you about it because I want to sit here and listen to myself talk. I'm going to tell you about it because that's the shit that I'm doing to make money. So if you don't want to ride the wave with me, I already told y'all I'm gonna take this podcast around the world. So as I start traveling the world with this podcast, and y'all be watching me in different cities, different states, different cultures, and y'all gonna be like, oh yeah, keep doing what you're doing, brother. And y'all gonna be doing it from your damn couch. You could have been rich. You could have been traveling the world with me. We could have been touring the world on the same podcast. You could have been doing your own vlog. And we would have been making ourselves successful together. Instead of being crabs in a bucket like you doing, trying to pull everybody down, bro. Because an hour and some change in, and you want to come over here and come talk this shit. Melissa say the world has so many opportunities. She right. Always have a plan B, C, and D. And when all else fails, you go back into your investment opportunities, liquidate some assets, and start over. And if you do it in a cheaper country, it's a lot easier to start over because the older you get, the harder it is to start over. But the more it costs to start over, the harder it is to start over. The older you get, the less people are willing to help you, especially if you're a man. So you have to understand that if you don't have a fallback plan, because you ain't got a bunch of friends to fall back on, because a lot of times you're the most successful person in your friendship group. So you can't say that if the shit hit the fan that you can go ask for a bunch of money from some of your homeboys. But you also know that you could also go and have your homeboys ask you for some bread and you got them. So we got to remember that we are not keeping a good balance of network, because while we're supposed to mentor across and down, we're supposed to have somebody mentoring down to us. So when times is hard and somebody come to us and say, hey, help me out, you should be able to go up to somebody else and say, hey, help me out. So if you ain't got people more successful than you in your network, you fucking up. So if you're the most successful person in your group, go find you some better friends. I ain't saying this the ones that you got. I'm saying go find you some better friends, because you're not going to learn nothing new if you don't go talk to somebody else. You got all the goddamn ideas. You need to go talk to somebody that got more ideas than you. Steve Jobs said, I ain't going to tell them how to get there. I'm going to tell them where I want them to go and let them figure it out. One of the millionaires, billionaires in this country. Y'all got to understand that. It ain't always about micromanaging how other people get successful. It's about tapping into some ideas, because you ain't got to be the smartest person in the room. You just got to have enough money to pay for the smartest person in the room to do the shit for you. That's called capitalism. Capitalizing on the efforts of somebody else. But you got to have some capital to make that shit happen. So a little bit more we got here. We had the Russian women generally treated men with respect and expected gentlemanly behavior in return, which we don't have in America. He gonna say I'm an incel because of that. However, the underlying cultural norms reflect a complex interplay of traditional gender roles and modern influences, leading to a society where patriarchal attitudes still prevail despite legal equality. So the dynamic between men and women in Russia are shaped by historical context, cultural expectations, and ongoing societal changes. So Russia is indeed becoming a new American dream for some expats, offering a unique blend of economic opportunities, cultural experiences, and a sense of community that is hard to find elsewhere. Whether you're an entrepreneur, an artist, or simply someone looking for a fresh start, Russia is definitely worth considering. So I want to make sure that you guys do like Melissa's been doing and make sure that you tell me what you think in the comments. And if you guys consider moving to Russia, or if you know somewhere else you want to go, you make sure that you share that with us and give us your thoughts. I might be able to do a show on it if I haven't already done it. And we'll be able to cross paths on some of that expats life and some more videos in the rest of the month, because I'm going to be touching on some more countries and some more investment opportunities and some more business deals that we can make ourselves more successful, ways to save, ways to budget, because that's where it starts. You stop wasting money, you do some collateral damage and get rid of all of the stuff that you don't need, and then you start taking all that extra money that you're not wasting anymore and you invest it somewhere. And then after you start investing, you start taking the profits, and then you do like Melissa, you leave the country, start traveling the world, you find you a place to squat, and then you start living life like it's lovely. Melissa also said, friendships hit different in other countries. Being in Croatia, my landlord and neighbors had my back when I got real sick and even brought soup and food when I wasn't well. Life is just better. Bro, I wish my landlord would just come to my house and tell me, how is your day? My landlord ain't doing nothing but, you got the rent money? Nah. Shoot. And if you got direct deposit and you mailing it to him, he don't even talk to you. Landlord forgot you living on the property. He just collecting the money on a yacht somewhere golfing. You over here struggling trying to cover the rent. I'm trying to tell you, we got to find ways to make ourselves more successful. And while we sitting out here tripping, we over here fighting each other, trying to make ourselves successful. Look at that. I got clients calling me right now because I got something happening in like 10 minutes. and these are my clients from Asia. So like I told you, I don't play no games. I don't sit over here talking to y'all on the podcast, just blowing smoke up y'all behinds like, oh, this ain't really what's going on. You heard my phone go off 2 times. 2 different phones went off in the last 10 minutes, just to let you know that I should have been talking to some of my clients in the next 10 minutes that's waiting on me from Asia. Digital nomads. When I get off the podcast, I ain't even got to go nowhere. I'm gonna get off the podcast and be sitting right here in this chair, re-upping my liquor, got me a glass of Marlowe right here, and I can sit here and sip my scissor and talk to my clients and enjoy my afternoon, get paid for it, take my behind the bed, and I just made a couple $1,000s. All I need is some functioning internet service, and when the internet ain't working right, use the hotspot on my cell phone. Galaxy S23 Ultra. So y'all got to understand, y'all, there's other ways to make money. Am I doing backbreaking labor? Hardest part of my day was figuring out which suit I was going to put on for the show today. That's it. That's the hardest part of my day. A lot of us, we got to fight the traffic. We got to deal with broke down cars. We got to fight with the co-workers on our jobs that ain't hitting on shit, that ain't doing shit, getting paid just as much money as us, if not more, to do nothing because they the boss's friend. I work for myself. I pay myself. And everything else that I got to spend to make that money is the cost of doing business. And I can do that from the comfort of my own home. And then when I decide to go somewhere else and live life, making money somewhere else, all I got to do is just take my laptop with me. $1 million asset, a Lenovo 16-inch Yoga i7. $1 million investment. Only cost $600. Y'all need to understand. I saved money buying a laptop that pays for itself when y'all spending money on steak and lobster. You got to get our priorities together. Melissa said, laugh my ass off. Yes, I work from home, get lucky during pandemic, but investing in a biz with my friend who's doing well in Cambodia. Also have my investments in order. If I get fired, I'm okay. And that is what I told y'all yesterday and day before yesterday, is to make sure that you got 18 months or 2 years worth of money sitting there. So if some shit hit the fan, whether you get sick, whether you get injured, whether you get fired, you don't care. I used to go to work on a job. I used to work at a Waffle House where I was making almost $75,000 a year. That's a lot of money in a Waffle House. I was boss over there. But you got to understand, over there at that Waffle House, I went to work because I felt like it, not because I needed the money. So I used to tell my boss on a regular basis, you pay me for my presence, and if I work, you lucky. But when I went to work, I only went to work when it was busy. I didn't go to work when it was slow. I only went to work when it was busy. So they didn't make my schedule. I made my schedule. But I made my schedule because I was that damn good. I was able to show up during a rush, knock that shit out, walk out the door, made my money for the night, going back. And I was one of the cooks. I was one of the line cooks. I was in some of the busiest stores in the country. And I can right now today put a Waffle House uniform on, walk into a Waffle House on the West Coast and knock it out with the best of them. And they'll offer me a job, $30 an hour. I don't want it. I get paid for my computer. Because if I decide that I want to leave the country tomorrow, I got to quit my job at Waffle House. But if I want to leave my country tomorrow, I can take my job with me if I keep my job on the computer. So we got to figure things out. Now, unfortunately, I got to cut it short today because, like I told y'all, I got like 5 minutes. I got to go touch base with one of my clients in Asia, actually specifically in Taiwan. So tomorrow, y'all going to come back. I'm going to be lining up the shows after I finish with my clients so that y'all see the lineup for the next 2 or 3 days. I'm going to try to get the rest of the week out there. But we are live 7 nights a week. So if you saw me today, like and subscribe, hit the notification button, and we're going to be back tomorrow. Ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And fellas, I really appreciate y'all coming to the podcast. Thank you so much. Special shout out for Twitch and Twitter. We are going to be going to TikTok coming soon, but we haven't gotten there yet. One more comment. Melissa said, I was laid off when the pandemic hit in 2020. I told myself I'd get a chance to leave. I'm leaving because I took a look like we were all gonna die. Got lucky and got a remote job 5 months later and left in 2021. I tell you what, that's what we got going on. Thank you. I really appreciate you subscribing, Melissa. I'm gonna see you tomorrow night. And for the rest of y'all, I appreciate y'all coming to this and that. Oh, look, hey, Melissa, guess what? Right before I wrap it up, we dropped the album for the podcast. It's called Higher Ground. You can check out one of the songs. It's the outro song. You can take a listen to it. It's a very motivational song. It's a little bit metal, but you might like it. I know I love it. And there are links to it that'll take you to the YouTube channel with the other 5 songs. And there's also links below that'll take you to the Amazon store if you want to go and get it if you got Amazon Prime. So take a listen to that on our way out. I appreciate you guys for coming to this and that. My name is Xander, and we're going to talk about this, that, and everything in between again tomorrow night. Thank you very much.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. vision, my expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.